Think of the one person who gets under your skin. Not an enemy, just someone whose personality irritates you in a way you cannot fully explain. Carl Jung believed that person is holding up a mirror, and that what you are looking at is not them. It is the part of yourself you have spent your entire life refusing to see. Jung called it the shadow, and he considered understanding it one of the most dangerous and most important things a human being can do. Dangerous because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. By the end of this, you will know how to find yours, why it has been quietly running your life from the dark, and what happens the moment you stop looking away. Here is the idea that unsettled an entire century of psychology. You were not born as one whole, finished person. You were assembled. As a child, you learned very quickly which parts of you earned love and which parts earned punishment. The anger that got you sent to your room, the neediness that made someone pull away, the loudness, the selfishness, the pride. You did not destroy those parts, you buried them. You built a self out of the traits that were rewarded, and you exiled the rest into the basement of your mind. Jung called that basement the shadow. It is everything about you that you have decided is not you. But here is the part almost everyone misses. The shadow is not evil. It is simply unlived. Buried down there, right next to the rage and the envy, are gifts. Spontaneity, you were told, was childish. Ambition, you were taught, was arrogant. A voice you learned to keep quiet. The shadow holds the worst of you and the most alive parts of you in the same dark room. And the longer you refuse to open that door, the more power it quietly takes from you. Jung did not arrive at this from a comfortable chair. After his painful break from Sigmund Freud, he went through a period where he deliberately turned and faced his own unconscious. He recorded it for years in a private journal that the world would not see until long after his death. He was not theorizing about the shadow from a distance. He had walked down into his own. And what he came back with was a warning. You might think that something buried stays buried. It does not. A part of you that is denied does not disappear. It leaks. It comes out sideways. It shows up as the mood you cannot explain. The reaction that is far too big for the moment. The pattern you swear you will never repeat, and then repeat anyway. Jung wrote that a man possessed by his shadow is always standing in his own light. Sit with that for a second. Standing in your own light. The thing blocking you is not the world. It is the part of you that you will not look at, casting a shadow across everything you try to build. In his final work, Man and His Symbols, Jung laid this out for ordinary readers, not just clinicians. His argument was uncomfortable. The modern person, so proud of being rational and self-aware, is actually the least acquainted with their own depths in all of history. We know the surface of ourselves perfectly. We are strangers to the basement. So how do you find something you have spent decades hiding from yourself? Jung handed us a tool so simple, it almost feels like a trick. You do not look inward first. You look at who irritates you. This is called projection. When you refuse to own a trait in yourself, your mind does something clever and dishonest. It finds that exact trait in other people, and it lets you hate it there instead. The arrogance that infuriates you in a coworker. The neediness that drains you in a friend. The selfishness you absolutely cannot stand. Jung's claim was startling. If a trait in another person provokes a strong, charged, emotional reaction in you, there is a very good chance you are looking at your own shadow wearing someone else's face. He put it plainly. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Notice the logic, because it is airtight. If you did not carry that trait at all, it would not move you. You would see a rude person and feel almost nothing, the way you feel nothing about a stranger's eye color. The charge, the heat, the instant judgment. That is the tell. That is your shadow recognizing itself out in the wild. Now, before we go any further, I want you to actually do this. because everything after this lands differently once you have a name in your head. Picture the person who irritates you most. Hold them right there in your mind. We are about to find out what they are really showing you. Stay with me. Jung issued a warning that sounds almost mystical until you have lived long enough to watch it come true. He said that when an inner situation is not made conscious, it appears in your life from the outside, and it arrives feeling like fate. Think about the patterns, the relationships that all seem to end the same way, the same kind of difficult boss you keep ending up under, the conflict that follows you from one city to the next, while you remain certain the problem is everyone else. Jung would say none of that is bad luck. It is your shadow, projected out onto the world and then handed right back to you as circumstance. What you will not face inside yourself, you will meet again and again outside yourself, until you finally turn around and look. Here is where most people get it wrong, and it matters more than anything else in this video. The goal is not to kill the shadow. You cannot. And the people who try hardest, the ones straining to be nothing but good, nothing but light, are often the most dangerous of all. Because the part they deny only grows darker in the dark. The Jungian analyst, Robert Johnson, in his small and quietly devastating book, Owning Your Own Shadow, described the real work not as destroying your dark side, but as making peace with it. You bring the exiled part back into the room. You let it have a chair at the table. Not to act on every impulse, but to stop spending your one life holding the basement door shut. Jung had a word for this lifelong process of becoming whole: individuation. It is the slow, deliberate work of integrating the parts of yourself you disowned, until you are no longer at war with your own depths. He believed it was the central task of a human life, and he believed almost no one ever finishes it, because almost no one is willing to begin. So what does beginning actually look like? It is far quieter than you would expect. It starts with a single willingness, the willingness to make the darkness conscious, to name the thing instead of projecting it. And here, modern neuroscience quietly agrees with a man who died more than half a century ago. Researchers studying what they call affect labeling found something remarkable. The simple act of putting a feeling into words actually changes what happens inside the brain. When you name an emotion, activity in the brain's threat center, the amygdala, measurably drops. The unnamed feeling controls you. The named feeling loosens its grip. Jung's word for it was conscious. The laboratory's word for it is regulation. They are describing the very same door. This is exactly why shadow work has almost always been done on paper. The page is where the unconscious is forced to become conscious. It is where you take the person who irritates you and you ask, in writing, what they are actually showing you about yourself. If you want a real way in, I have put my favorite books on the shadow in the description below, including Robert Johnson's Owning Your Own Shadow and Jung's own Man and His Symbols. And if this is the kind of psychology you want to go deeper into, subscribe, because we go one layer beneath the surface every single week. Now let me bring you back to that person, the one you have been holding in your mind since the very beginning, the coworker, the relative, the friend who gets under your skin in a way you could never quite justify. Jung's most dangerous idea is this: they are not the problem, they are the messenger. The trait you cannot stand in them is, very often, the trait you have refused to claim in yourself. And the moment you stop hating it out there and start owning it in here, two things happen at the same time. That other person quietly loses their power to disturb you, and you get back a piece of yourself that you exiled so long ago you forgot it was ever missing. That is the strange promise of the shadow. The thing you were most afraid to look at turns out to be holding exactly what you needed. Not your destruction, your wholeness. Jung said this work takes real courage, and he was right. But the alternative is to spend your whole life standing in your own light, blaming your shadow on everyone but yourself. So here is the question I will leave you with. Who irritates you most? And what might that be showing you about a part of yourself you have never once let yourself be? Sit with it, because the honest answer is the beginning of the most important conversation you will ever have, the one with yourself. If this opens something up in you, the video on the screen now goes even deeper into the hidden forces quietly driving human behavior. I will see you there.